Hello and thanks for joining us this Thursday. I'm Mackailyn Johnson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're bringing you today. Extreme fire dangers continue across southeast Arkansas this afternoon. More on the toll the fires are taking on Jefferson County families in 2 minutes. And how a tiny gesture by an Oklahoma nonprofit is changing the lives of young people in a big way. Plus, love on the brain for Rihanna with her latest single releasing this week in memory of the late Chadwick Boseman, where you can hear it a little later. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Nathan Scott. It's Thursday. The weekend is near. What can we expect today?
Well, good afternoon, Mackailyn. We're going to have some beneficial rains across a large part of central Arkansas. Today, though, you saw behind you, we have some high clouds moving in. And you can see those high clouds showing up here on visible satellite. Clouds will be on the increase through this afternoon. We'll stay dry. Temperatures right now into the low 60s. And we also are contending with a breeze from the east, about 10 to as high as 15 miles per hour for you folks in Stuttgart. It's up to 13 miles per hour in Searcy. So the trend today will be high clouds to be on the increase. Overall, it's going to be a very pleasant autumnal day around the region. Highs upper 60s to lower 70s. We'll see more clouds. Sunshine fades away on your Friday. Small chance of rain, but look at that spike on Saturday. We are going to see a good soaking rain across central Arkansas, and the chance of rain lingers into Sunday. I'll let you know how much rain you can see at your home coming up.
Thanks, Nathan. Firefighters are keeping a close eye on a wildfire that roared back to life in Jefferson County. Now, there were some new aerial pictures showing the smoke and flames. For a second time this week, a wildfire is threatening homes just south of Pine Bluff. This isn't a new fire, but a rekindling of the fire from Monday. Officials tell us they're widening fire lines and adding patrols, making sure it doesn't jump the line somewhere and continue spreading. A homeowner we spoke with says he's been living in the area for over 20 years and has never experienced anything like this. Rick Bunting lives off of Rayan Road. This is the second time in the past week he's had to deal with a wildfire threatening his property.
I've lived out here since '96 and we have never had anything like this. My wife calls me up and tells me that the place is on fire again, so I leave work, come home, and it was on my property by then.
The state forester told us they are investigating what caused the initial fire. They think it was someone burning trash or debris. The silver lining with more than 800 acres burned is there have been no injuries or property damage from this fire. A few homes were evacuated for safety precautions. Since early yesterday, several counties have been dropped from burn bans. Here's the latest map from the State Forestry Commission showing 50 counties still under a burn ban. Outdoor burning is once again allowed in parts of western and northern Arkansas, the area that saw much of the rain earlier this week. The worst fire danger remains in South Arkansas. Now to a THV 11 update. A man remains in the hospital this afternoon after getting into a shootout with Pine Bluff police. It happened yesterday afternoon on South Camden Road. Police claim they encountered the man coming out of a plasma center when he opened fire on officers. Police fired back, hitting the man, who is now identified as 30-year-old Dustin Denton. They haven't yet released his name. We just received his name earlier, and we know they're both on, the officers are on leave with pay during the investigation by state police. And now to a suspicious death in Hot Springs. Police there are working to learn how a man died after officers found 57-year-old Edwin Talbert dead in front of his vehicle yesterday morning. They say it was in the middle of Grove Street. Now that's just 1 block east of the police department. Detectives hope to learn more from the state crime lab. Meanwhile, a senior cheerleader at North Little Rock High School has passed away. Those who knew her say they'll miss her bubbly smile and personality the most. The school says Victoria Moody, better known as Tori, was heavily involved at campus and participated in a lot of clubs. But more than anything, she loved to cheer for her Charging Wildcats every Friday night. Earlier this week, those who loved and knew her held a balloon release to remember her, classmates say. This afternoon, several people are recovering after several people were hurt in a ride accident at Silver Dollar City in Branson. Many remain in the hospital this afternoon. A chaotic scene unfolding there last night after sections of the Frisco Silver Dollar Line steam train derailed. A local reporter shared this video from a passenger who escaped, showing first responders looking for anyone trapped after the train ride tipped over. A park spokesperson confirmed 6 guests and 1 employee were taken by ambulance to the hospital. Witnesses report passengers had climbed out of windows. At least 1 man reported a back injury, with another woman bleeding in the face. At least half a dozen ambulances were on scene to transport the injured. Silver Dollar City is looking into what caused the train to tip over. Herschel Walker is doubling down. The Senate candidate is once again denying he paid for a girlfriend's abortion. Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington, D.C.
This is a lie, and I've said it once, and I've moved on my campaign.
Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker denied allegations from a second woman who says that Walker paid for her abortion.
I'm done with this foolishness.
The woman described a 6-year affair with Walker while he was married and playing in the NFL. She says that in April 1993, she found out she was pregnant and told Walker she couldn't go through with an abortion.
He was upset and said that he was going to go back with me to the clinic the next day for me to have the abortion.
Her lawyer, Gloria Allred, did not provide receipts from the clinic, but did provide a photo, handwritten cards, and a recorded message allegedly from Walker.
I want to say I love you, and I was thinking about you.
Walker is locked in a very close race against incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock, who called the latest allegations part of, quote, a troubling pattern. Pennsylvania is another battleground state that could determine the balance of power in the U.S. Senate.
Doing that debate wasn't exactly easy.
Democrat John Fetterman, who is recovering from a stroke, says this week's debate against Republican Mehmet Oz was one of the hardest things he's ever done.
And deal with the crises.
In the final stretch to Election Day, Oz has focused his campaign on crime.
We are battling right now for the heart and soul of our city.
It's also a top issue for Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin, running for governor in New York against incumbent Kathy Hochul.
And we will protect a woman's right to a safe and legal abortion.
Meanwhile, Hochul has criticized Zeldin for his stance on abortion and his support of former President Trump. The polls in New York have tightened in recent days, with less than 2 weeks until Election Day. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
As early voting in the November election continues today, if you need a closer look at the races and candidates before you cast your vote, THV11 has you covered. You can find our comprehensive voter guide now on THV11.com, or just text the word VOTE to 501-376-1111 and we'll send you the link straight to your phone. Attorneys for Donald Trump have accepted the subpoena issued by the House committee investigating the January 6th riot. The panel voted unanimously to subpoena Trump to testify at the end of its latest public hearing this month. The subpoena calls for him to testify either at the Capitol or by video conference on November 14th after the midterm elections. Trump was also given a deadline of November 4th to turn documents over to the committee. President Biden is taking new steps to help Americans have a little more money to spend, but borrowing money to buy a home is getting more expensive by the week. Home mortgage interest rates have jumped to their highest level since 2001, but at the White House yesterday, President Biden was focused on what he called junk fees from banks and other companies that target consumers. The president says charges for things like bounced checks, credit card late fees, and insufficient funds are unfair and cost Americans tens of billions of dollars every year.
Weighing down family budgets and making it harder for people to pay their bills. So my administration is taking action to eliminate these fees.
The president says his administration will also target fees charged by airlines, cable companies, and concert ticket sellers. It's been 2 years and counting of financial stress for Arkansas cattle farmers, and the challenges they're facing now could result in higher prices of beef. James Mitchell, an agriculture economics professor, says beef prices didn't rise that much for the past few years, but the USDA thinks they could move faster next year.
They think meat prices in 2023 will be up 1% to 2%.
The Arkansas Cattlemen's Association says there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and farmers are doing the best they can. And just ahead, we have a closer look at the Oklahoma program that's getting young people aging out of the foster care system ready for the real world. Nathan?
And things might get a little gloomy and spooky going into Halloween weekend as we'll see rain return to the region. I've got the details on that and your Halloween forecast next.